But what do you think about Mary getting the spiritual release?
That's awesome. She felt she needed to. That is incredible. Good for her. I'm glad she did it. I think it's awesome it was on abandonment because that was the truth.
Hi everyone, friends, welcome back to Starspill USA, where we dive deep into the dramatic, the emotional, and the unexpected from the world of sister wives. And today, we're unraveling a twist so jarring, so completely unforeseen that even longtime fans of the Brown family saga have been left speechless. And as always, I hope you're all doing well by God's grace. Don't forget, if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss the latest updates. Now, let's jump straight into what could easily be one of the most shocking, heart-wrenching developments we've ever covered: the sudden, mysterious disappearance of Robyn Brown's eldest daughter, Aurora, and the firestorm of secrets, cash, and chaos she left behind. Yes, you heard that right, Aurora is gone, vanished, and the circumstances surrounding her departure aren't just tragic, they're explosive. According to multiple insiders and leaked police reports, she didn't just leave quietly in the night. She allegedly absconded with a staggering amount of cash, tens of thousands of dollars that she reportedly discovered hidden in Kody Brown's private closet, a space that for years was treated almost like a sacred vault in the family home. But before we unravel the night she disappeared, we need to understand how things escalated to this breaking point, because this wasn't just a teenage rebellion. And this wasn't just a fight gone too far. This was a culmination of years of emotional pressure, internal family fractures, and a house quietly falling apart under the strain of a patriarch who was losing control of everything he once held dear. Ever since Christine made the courageous decision to walk away from the plural marriage, followed by Janelle finding her independence, and eventually Mary stepping back for good, Kody has been unraveling. What was once a man who stood on the pulpit of plural unity and spiritual leadership had become, in many ways, a figure of contradiction, clinging desperately to what remained a fractured household with Robyn and their combined children, including her kids from a previous marriage and the younger ones she had with Kody. But what should have been a peaceful chapter turned into something far more toxic. Robyn, long portrayed as the devoted wife and mediator, has reportedly been isolated and emotionally overwhelmed, drained by Kody's escalating paranoia, erratic mood swings, and incessant demand for control over what little family remained. Kody, insiders say, no longer resembled the confident father figure fans once watched lead group discussions and family councils. Instead, he had become volatile, snapping at those around him, blaming others for the chaos he himself helped create. And then there was Aurora's sweet, quiet, and often anxious Aurora, remembered by longtime fans as the sensitive daughter who always tried to please, who clung tightly to her mother during family interviews, and who rarely spoke unless prompted. But as the walls began to crumble inside that household, Aurora too began to shift. Friends close to her said she began withdrawing from online college courses, declining invitations to family gatherings, and even avoiding contact from close friends. At first, it seemed like she was just going through something internal, maybe depression, maybe anxiety. But as time went on, it became clear something deeper was stirring. And then came the argumenta brutal, reportedly explosive confrontation between Kody and Robyn that took place after Kody returned home from a particularly heated legal meeting regarding the Coyote Pass property. Sources described him as already agitated, furious over legal complexities, and blaming Robyn for his increasing alienation from his ex-wives. During this fight, he reportedly shouted venomous things not just at Robyn, but about her children, accusing them of draining him dry, calling them leeches, and vowing to cut them off financially. He stormed out of the house in a rage, leaving a sobbing Robyn to lock herself in the bedroom that, insiders say, is the exact moment when something inside Aurora finally snapped. What happened next was not just an act of rebellion, was an eruption of long-repressed emotion, a scream for autonomy, and maybe, in her own way, a desperate cry for help. In the dead of night, Aurora, barely 20, packed a small bag with the essentials. She tiptoed into the one place she was never allowed to enter Kody's private closet, the infamous locked zone that he fiercely protected. Family members have long known of Kody's distrust of banks and preference for hiding cash in strange places, as some of his children even joked about it in whispers. But Aurora wasn't laughing. What she found there was not just petty cash, it was a veritable treasure trove. Bundles of $100 bills, shoeboxes stuffed with money, envelopes bloated with smaller bills, and a locked metal box whose contents still remain a mystery. Some insiders place the estimated amount at more than $75,000. Others say it could have been closer to six figures. But why was Kody hoarding this much cash? Was it reported income? Was it from TLC? Was it something darker? Those questions would soon be asked by more than just curious fans. But back to Aurora after quietly collecting what she could carry. She left a short note for her mother that simply read, "I can't do this anymore. Please don't try to find me. I love you." And then, like a ghost, she vanished. Next morning, Robyn discovered the note and the missing money and reportedly collapsed into a state of absolute panic. Witnesses say the home erupted into chaos. Kody returned and immediately flew into a blind rage, screaming Aurora's name, tearing through the house, demanding answers, and frantically calling her phone, which went straight to voicemail. In desperation, he drove around town visiting local parks, cafes, even places Aurora once liked to study or relax. She was nowhere. Eventually, both Kody and Robyn called the police and reported her missing, initially framing it as a runaway situation. But as pressure mounted and questions from authorities intensified, the truth about the missing money began to leak. A police officer involved in the case, speaking off the record, confirmed that Kody and Robyn were clearly more concerned about the cash than they were letting on. That fact triggered a media firestorm. Suddenly, this wasn't just about a missing young woman. It became a story about hidden wealth, unreported assets, and a potentially explosive family secret. Why did Kody have so much cash in the house? Was he hiding income from the IRS? From TLC? From his ex-wives? Reporters descended upon the situation like hawks, and the Brown family, already on edge, began to implode further. Sightings of Aurora began pouring in. Someone claimed they saw her at a Las Vegas bus station. Another tip placed her at a Salt Lake City diner. A motel clerk in a remote Arizona town swore a young woman matching her description had checked in alone and then vanished by morning. But each lead went cold before authorities could confirm anything. Robyn, according to sources close to her, has been inconsolable, refusing to film, refusing to leave the house, and blaming herself over and over. Friends say she repeats one sentence constantly: "I failed my daughter." She reportedly hasn't stopped crying since the day Aurora disappeared. But Kody's reaction has shocked even those closest to him. Instead of showing concern, insiders claim he's been consumed by fury, not grief. He's allegedly been ranting that Aurora betrayed him, that she's just like her biological father, a comment that left many stunned, and that Robyn spoiled her children into thinking they were owed money they didn't earn. He reportedly told one friend, "I don't care if she's gone. I care that she stole from me." That cold, heartless comment has caused massive fallout, not just within the family, but among fans who once saw him as a flawed but loving father. Now, his image is in tatters. Even his other children, especially those estranged from him, have quietly begun posting cryptic messages in support of Aurora. Without naming names, they've hinted at understanding her pain, expressing solidarity with someone they believe was pushed too far. One post read, "Sometimes silence isn't peace, it's suppression." Another, "Running isn't weak. Sometimes it's the bravest thing you can do." Whether or not those were directly about Aurora, fans have connected the dots. The family is splintered beyond repair. The financial secrets are bubbling to the surface. And TLC is reportedly scrambling over how to handle this bombshell in upcoming episodes. Will they air it? Will they pretend it didn't happen? Can they even legally cover the cash scandal? These are questions that could define the very future of the Sister Wives franchise. As for Aurora, she remains missing, but not forgotten. Her name is trending, her story is resonating, and somewhere out there, a young woman who once lived quietly under the weight of a collapsing family dynasty is reclaiming her narrative in a way none of us saw coming. She ever chooses to return or speak or tell her side well, that might just be the most powerful Sister Wives chapter of all. But until then, the house she left behind is full of questions, regret, and a patriarch, more isolated than ever, clutching his secret stash of money with no one left to trust.
We were moving forward with everything that we had in plan for getting together for Christmas. Everybody was quarantining, everybody was prepping for Christmas, and then we got some really sad news.
As news of Aurora's disappearance continued to send shockwaves across the Sister Wives universe and beyond. It wasn't just fans left speechless, was the family itself. Frozen in emotional paralysis as new truths surfaced by the hour, each one more heart-wrenching than the last. In a rare and haunting post that emerged on social media, believed to be from one of Aurora's siblings, though none confirmed it, directly came a piercing message. Sometimes you have to get out to breathe. I hope she's safe and finds peace. It was a short line, almost whispered in tone, but it carried a weight of 1,000 unspoken words. For anyone who had ever watched the show or studied the haunted eyes behind those quiet moments on camera, it spoke volumes. That someone so close to the family would break the silence in such a way was a clear indicator that behind the carefully curated reality TV scenes, a very different kind of reality was unfolding, a far more painful one. What followed next, however, was as shocking as it was strangely healing. In an unexpected twist that few saw coming, Kody Brown, Kody's former wife and longtime critic of Robyn, apparently reached out to her privately. Whatever history they had, be it rivalry, hurt, or resentment, Kody chose to rise above it. Sources close to the family revealed that Kody told Robyn plainly, "I know what it's like to watch your child struggle and feel helpless to stop it." For all their past tension, Kody's gesture was unexpected grace. One mutual friend even shared that Kody offered to help in the search for Aurora if it came to that, showing that despite all the layers of reality TV drama, these were still mothers at their core, connected by shared pain, parenting, heartache, and the quiet horrors that come when you realize your child is suffering and you didn't see just how bad it had gotten. But while emotions burned hot behind closed doors outside the home, attention quickly shifted to a far more clinical realm, the legal implications of what had happened. Attorneys and legal experts soon weighed in, and the discourse began to swirl. Aurora, after all, was legally an adult. At over 18, she had every right to walk away from her home and disappear if she wished, but the cash, that's where things got complicated. While Kody may have claimed the money as his own, Aurora could argue that she had reason to believe it belonged, in part, for Aurora, that she needed it to escape an emotionally unsafe environment. Then the waters got murky. Law enforcement, for their part, made it clear they were treating this not as a criminal case, but as a domestic incident. No formal charges had been filed, no warrants issued, no press conferences held. But behind that bureaucratic quiet, Kody was reportedly fuming. Legal or not, Aurora had taken something he considered his, and that betrayal burned deeper than anything else. And yet, those who truly knew Aurora told a vastly different story. To them, this wasn't theft, 'twas survival. Friends and former classmates spoke out, painting a portrait of a young woman who had grown increasingly anxious and emotionally delicate in recent years. "She's not greedy," one former friend said bluntly. "She just needed a way out. She needed air." That house became unbearable after the others left. It was like living in a pressure cooker. Another shared memories of Aurora's social anxiety. Her visible panic attacks and the way she often seemed to flinch when raised voices filled the house. She never felt like she was enough. Kody would snap at her over the tiniest things, and she felt like she had no one to turn to. These weren't words from tabloids. These were testimonies from people who knew the girl, not the TV version. But the real Aurora, and they all echoed the same sentiment. This wasn't a robbery, it was a cry for freedom. Meanwhile, behind the scenes of the TLC production machine, chaos reigned. Producers scrambled to figure out how, or even if, they could feature this storyline on the show. Some segments were temporarily halted. Crew members were instructed to stand down for a few days while the family tried to find emotional footing. But not everyone behind the camera agreed with the hiatus. Some claimed Kody saw the incident as a way to flip the narrative to once. Again, center himself as the misunderstood father, the glue desperately trying to hold his family together. One source alleged that Kody had pitched the situation as proof that without his guidance, the family spirals and Robyn can't manage the children on her own, told someone in production. Now the world sees what I've been saying all along, the source revealed. But fans weren't buying it. Not even a little. Social media erupted almost instantly with hashtags like #FreeAurora, #TeamAurora, and #ProtectAurora gaining traction. Comments poured in from longtime viewers who had grown increasingly wary of Kody's behavior over the years. "Poor girl," one post read. "No child deserves to carry that kind of pressure, especially not on camera." Another comment was even more direct. "Maybe if he cared more about his kids than hoarding cash, she wouldn't have left." The floodgates had opened, and the public tide had turned entirely against Kody. But where was Aurora now? Despite a whirlwind of rumors and alleged sightings from Salt Lake diners to Vegas bus terminals to motels in Arizona, was verified. The strongest rumor was that she was staying with a distant relative in California, but even that had no official confirmation. One thing that was confirmed, however, was a leaked voicemail allegedly left by Robyn for Aurora voicemail. That, once shared online, shattered any remaining doubts about Robyn's state of mind. Her voice, raw and trembling, cracked as she pleaded, "Sweetheart, please just let me know you're okay." Those simple words, broadcast to the world, reminded everyone that beyond the money and fame and scandal, this was still a mother broken, desperate, and searching for her child. But while Robyn wept, Kody pursued a different path entirely. Sources close to the family revealed that he had begun speaking with lawyers to explore whether he could legally reclaim the missing money. So far, no legal action had been taken, and most insiders doubted he would go through with it. But the fact that he was even considering such a move, potentially prosecuting his own daughter, was a jarring glimpse into his priorities. "He's angrier about the money than the disappearance," one insider remarked. That says everything. And just as the dust from Aurora's vanishing act was beginning to settle, another aftershock rocked the sister wives' world. Kody, once again igniting chaos, this time by delivering a fiery ultimatum directly to Robyn. It wasn't subtle, wasn't diplomatic. According to a leaked transcript of a private confrontation, Kody reportedly told Robyn in no uncertain terms, "Get out of the house, or I will." And unlike past marital spats, this one was reportedly nuclear, an emotional crescendo years in the making. Witnesses described it as the culmination of built-up resentment, guilt, financial strain, an unspoken tension that had been simmering just beneath the surface ever since Christine left, for months now. Insiders had whispered that Kody's behavior had grown increasingly erratic, blaming everyone but himself for the family's collapse, growing bitter and spinning a narrative in which Robyn, the wife he once protected fiercely, had somehow become the root of his downfall. One insider even quoted him as saying, "If it weren't for Robyn, none of this would have happened." A staggering accusation directed at the woman who had stood by him longer than anyone. The tension reportedly came to a head during a late-night argument in which Kody allegedly accused Robyn of being financially irresponsible, of coddling her children, and of isolating him from the rest of the world. It wasn't just tense, it was cruel. He called her out for the large mortgage, the utilities, the groceries, the car maintenance, all the expenses he said she burdened him with. According to a leaked portion of a confrontation caught by an in-home security device now in the possession of someone close to the family, Kody shouted, "I'm done being your bank. If you want me here, you need to show me I matter, or I'm gone." Robyn, tearful and shocked, reportedly responded, "You are all I have left. Please don't do this." But his response was cold, calculated. "You had everything. You had my loyalty, and now you're losing me too." And with that, Kody stormed out, slamming the door behind him. Those close to the couple now believe the relationship is beyond repair. While no formal separation has been announced, insiders suggest that Kody has begun exploring new living arrangements and that he's even taken a few nights at hotels just to avoid coming home. Meanwhile, Robyn, emotionally shattered, is said to be clinging to the hope that this is just another phase, another tantrum, but the reality is beginning to sink in. The truth is, even the strongest thread in the sister wives tapestry is now fraying. With Aurora gone, with Kody threatening to leave, and with Robyn spiraling under the weight of guilt, grief, and fear, it's clearer than ever that the center cannot hold. And as the camera crews debate how much of this story can or should be told, one thing remains certain. Fans no longer want manufactured drama. They want truth. Raw, painful, uncomfortable truth. And right now, the truth is this. The Brown family is no longer just a reality TV spectacle. It's a cautionary tale about what happens when love turns into control, when faith becomes pressure, and when children grow up in a house where the lights are always on, but no one is ever really seen.
We have had so many conversations where I've said, "It's done, we're not compatible." And he's agreed, and he's like, "Yeah, it's really sad." Like, why?
Whether Aurora ever returns, whether Robyn finds peace, or whether Kody finally confronts his own role in this collapse, of that remains to be seen. But here at Starspill USA, we'll continue to bring you every layer, every revelation, every heartbeat of this evolving story, because this isn't just entertainment, it's real life. And real life, especially for the Browns, is messier than ever in the unraveling of a once celebrated polygamous household. The story of Kody and Robyn Brown has taken a dark, emotional turn. Known for their participation in the reality show Sister Wives, the family now finds itself splintering beyond repair. At the heart of the current crisis is Aurora, Robyn's daughter, and Kody's stepdaughter, whose quiet departure from home has ignited a storm of accusations, emotional confrontations, and public outcry. Aurora, now legally an adult, reportedly left the home with money that Kody claims was taken without permission, though some see it as theft. Others familiar with Aurora's mental health history insist this was not a crime of greed but of desperation. "Sometimes you have to get out to breathe," wrote one family member online, a sentiment that resonated deeply with fans who recall Aurora's history of anxiety and panic attacks. Christine, Kody's former wife and once a rival to Robyn, extended an unexpected gesture of compassion. She reached out to Robyn, offering support and even assistance in locating Aurora. Despite their rocky past, maternal concern bridged the gap between them. Christine acknowledged the helplessness of watching a child suffer, recalling her own past with the family's emotional turmoil. Police have not classified the situation as a criminal case, calling it a domestic matter. Legal experts clarify that while Aurora is within her rights to leave, if the money wasn't hers, the law could interpret it as theft. However, emotionally charged nuances blur those lines, especially if Aurora felt unsafe or emotionally abandoned at home. Insiders revealed that following the exits of Christine, Janelle, and Mary, Aurora became increasingly isolated. What once was a bustling household turned into a hollow shell. Kody, under mounting stress, reportedly became short-tempered and volatile, with Aurora often the target of his frustration. Never enough. That's how she allegedly described feeling in the house. Her departure seemed inevitable. The money she took was, in her eyes, a ticket to freedom. Robyn has been emotionally shattered. In a leaked voicemail, she pleads with Aurora, "Sweetheart, please just let me know you're okay." It was a rare, raw moment that cut through the reality show veneer, showing a mother in true anguish. Kody's reaction, however, was more calculated. He consulted lawyers considering legal action to retrieve the money. While he's unlikely to go through, with it aware of the public backlash, it still reveals the emotional and control struggles he faces. Meanwhile, Sister Wives producers paused filming temporarily. Some insiders believe Kody sees the situation as a way to reshape his image. A last-ditch effort to appear as the family's anchor. He allegedly told producers Robyn was unable to manage the children on her own, casting himself as indispensable. Online, the public response was swift and overwhelmingly in favor of Aurora. Hashtags like #FreeAurora and #TeamAurora began trending. Fans expressed heartbreak for the young woman and frustration toward Kody. "No child deserves that kind of pressure," one viewer tweeted. Another posted, "If he cared more about his daughter than his money, she wouldn't have left." Reports suggest Aurora is staying with extended relatives in California, out of reach but not out of mind. Robyn has tried repeatedly to contact her with no response. Aurora's silence may speak volumes about the depth of her emotional wound. Then came the bombshell. Kody issued an ultimatum to Robyn: leave the house or he would, according to close sources. The confrontation wasn't just a fight. It was the breaking point of a long simmering power struggle. "This house is like a prison," Kody reportedly told Robyn. "I wake up every day and think about what happened to my life. I look at you and see everything that went wrong." Robyn responded, stunned, "You're blaming me? After all I've done for you and this family?" Kody's reply was cutting. "Yes, you and your kids sucked the life out of me. You led me to believe things would get better, but they never did." He then laid down the line, "Go stay with your mother or your sister, or I leave and I won't come back." Robyn was devastated. She reminded him she had stayed when others left. "You're kicking me out now. I don't care anymore. I need peace." "This house is choking me," Kody responded coldly. That night, Kody left the house and didn't return until morning. The next day, neighbors saw Robyn packing suitcases. She was overheard on the phone crying, "I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do." Former wives reacted publicly. Christine said it was only a matter of time before he turned on her too. Janelle commented, "I wouldn't wish that pain on anyone." Even Mary, who had long felt discarded, said, "Now she knows how it feels." Online sentiment shifted. Some defended Robyn, others called it karma. Reddit threads exploded with opinions. "She thought she was special, but Kody only ever loved himself," wrote one user. Another added, "Even Robyn doesn't deserve this." New hashtags emerged. #Robyn deserves better and #Kody ultimatum. Financial troubles may have fueled the explosion. With show revenue down, a growing mortgage, and bills stacking up, Kody reportedly blames Robyn's spending. He believes sending her away could allow him to downsize and regain control. What we're seeing isn't just the end of a marriage, it's the collapse of a televised experiment in plural living. The ideals once championed have withered under pressure, favoritism, and emotional exhaustion. Even Robyn, once favored, is now disillusioned. Privately, she admitted, "He's not the man I married. He's angry all the time." Producers are urging her to remain involved, fearing the show may not survive otherwise. But Robyn may vanish from public life altogether. Kody alternates between anger and grief. One minute he's saying he's finally free, says a friend. The next he's crying about being alone. The children, Dayton, Brianna, Solomon, Ariella, and Aurora, caught in the storm. The younger ones are confused. The older ones are traumatized. Aurora, the catalyst of this collapse, is said to be heartbroken. Her parents were her foundation, and that foundation has crumbled. One neighbor heard Robyn say as she left with her suitcase, "You always said you'd never leave me, but it turns out you just wanted someone to blame." Kody's reply, "Maybe we both made a mistake. This isn't just TV drama. It's the very public, very painful unraveling of a family built on ideals that couldn't withstand real-world strain." For more updates and raw, unfiltered storytelling, like, share, and subscribe to Starspill USA, your home for everything real in reality TV.